Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you again for our time together. Paul says in 1 Timothy chapter 3, beginning with verse 15, "If I delay, you may know how one ought to behave in the household of God." Now this is God's family, God's household, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and buttress of the truth. Do you remember watching on the news not too long ago when that big Catholic church in France had the fire? Now that was a disaster. But do you remember looking at the buildings when they showed you pictures, how it looked kind of strange? Because, there were the columns that you and I understand, but then on the outside there were these things holding up the columns. Well, in the old words, that is the pillar and this is the buttress that holds up the pillar. They didn't dig things down deep in the foundations and things like we do now. Pillar and buttress, and that's what holds things up. The church is the pillar and buttress that holds up the truth. The church is not a source of truth. We don't sit around and make decisions and have conferences and come up with new truth and new revelation. We are the pillar and buttress, the pillar and support of truth. We're not a source of truth. We are the ones who maintain the truth of the gospel, the truth of the words of God. This is why oftentimes you hear people say, well, the Bible is outmoded and we need to update things. No, we don't update the gospel. We don't update the commands of God. We don't update the words of Jesus. We don't say that these truths are no longer relevant to our culture or our society. They are human, eternal truths. The church is not to change truth. The church is to uphold truth.